Greetings, I'm Zachary Hepner. I'm pleased to share this Dvar Torah with you for Yom Kippur. Note that the blessings of Rosh Hashanah mention nothing about Yom Kippur, while in all of the Amidah blessings for Yom Kippur, it begins with Melech al kol haaretz, God is king over all the land. This is a theme that's directly related to Rosh Hashanah, where God is the king. So that is the question I'd like to address. Why does the blessing of Yom Kippur include and begin with the theme of Rosh Hashanah? I think the simple answer could be found by starting with a teaching quoted by Rabbi Shurkin in his book Hararei Kedem, quoting the Rabbi Soloveitchik. On Yom Kippur, theme number Mem Aleph, he discusses the theme of Hirhur Teshuvah, which means thoughts of Teshuvah. The Rav quotes the famous passage in the Gomor in Kiddushin 49b, where someone betroths a woman on condition, האומר לאשה, הרי את מקודשת לי, על מנת שאני צדיק, אפילו rasha gamur מקודשת, שמה hirhur teshuvah bלבו. If a man says to a woman, be betrothed to me on the condition that I am righteous, that I'm a tzaddik, even if he is a complete wicked man, she is betrothed because perhaps he thought thoughts of teshuvah. He had Hirhur Teshuvah in his heart. The Minchad Chinuch on mitzvah number 364 uses this Talmudic passage to prove that teshuvah, even if it's done in the heart, is still significant, and he is righteous. However, Rabbi Soloveitchik rejects that, because how could he have done teshuvah when teshuvah requires more of a formulation? As Rabbi Soloveitchik points out, that there is an extensive formula of doing teshuvah that includes charata, which is regret, vidui, confession, and kabbalah al ha'atid, which is resolve, something which this person who betrothed the woman certainly did none of. Rabbi Soloveitchik then concludes in that piece that in fact he did what's called a thought of teshuvah, Hirhur Teshuvah, which means that he thought of it, which is significant. However, he's certainly lacking in fulfilling the mitzvah of teshuvah, but he has done an act that is significant, and that is an act that's significant towards repentance. This is meaningful in the sense that the Rav rejects what the Minchad Chinuch said, that the person has performed teshuvah, but he accepts the notion that he has done an act of teshuvah in a significant sense. Taking this message, now we can glean the meaning of why every one of the 5 services on Yom Kippur, that the bracha, start with the blessing that should be only in Rosh Hashanah, but it's inserted into the Yom Kippur prayer, that God is Melech al kol haaretz, king over all the land, a theme which should only be in the Rosh Hashanah service, but also it's inserted into the Yom Kippur service. That's because the theme of Rosh Hashanah is that one should start with the thoughts of teshuvah. This is certainly one of the meaningful messages that Rambam inserts into the hearing of the shofar, that one should wake up and have thoughts of teshuvah. By mentioning this, in fact, we now have Rosh Hashanah in Yom Kippur. So to summarize, the question is, why do the blessings on Yom Kippur include the message that God is king over all the land, when that should really only be in the Rosh Hashanah liturgy and not the Yom Kippur liturgy? And I believe the simple answer is that, in fact, God being king over all the land is, in fact, the theme of Rosh Hashanah, that we should wake up and have thoughts of teshuvah, a Yom Kippur message. Therefore, that theme is significant and meaningful for the day of Yom Kippur. And then we conclude with the proper formulations of teshuvah, which includes charata, vidui, and kabbalah, which is regret, confession, and resolve, which we do in all the services on Yom Kippur. I wish you all a gemar chatima tova and a gut kvittel.